My friends, I don't drink Kool-Aid. It's not on my shopping list. And I won't drink Kool-Aid for the Trump administration. This is Howard Riell. The show is called Real Truth. Welcome. It's a brand new week. I've had people say to me, Riell, do you disagree with Trump on anything? And yes, I do. And I haven't made any secret about it. And there's no reason not to. This is a public discourse. Here's one of the two things that I disagree most emotionally with Donald Trump about. Comes from InfoWars. I quote, "Why isn't the Trump administration under Attorney General Sessions investigating clear proof of Hillary Clinton's violations of campaign finance laws and regulations? The WikiLeaks Podesta emails document a money laundering scheme that gained Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign hundreds of millions of dollars in direct violation of FEC campaign financing laws and regulations. During the campaign, the Clinton campaign violation was suspected by Politico and charged by Bernie Sanders, yet the FBI under Trump continues to turn a blind eye. To understand the Clinton campaign money laundering scheme, we need to understand the Clinton campaign realized that top dollar millionaire and billionaire Democratic Party donors wanted to contribute several $100,000 to Hillary's campaign, but were constrained by limits to individual and spousal contributions set by FEC campaign funding laws and regulations," unquote. My friends, the Clintons have been filthy for decades. You know it by now. You know the trope just as well as I do. And if you don't know it, I invite you to go on Google and just check out anything. Clinton crimes, Clinton hit list, you name it. They're a filthy couple. They have been since Bill was a governor back in Arkansas. And you know, I love Donald Trump. I think he's doing a spectacular job. But I want to know why Hillary Clinton and her minions aren't being prosecuted. You remember back in the campaign, they said, well, the Clinton Foundation is still being investigated by the FBI. Excuse me, where is that investigation? Whatever happened to it? One of the things that government, with a capital G, government writ large, one of the things government does is it just waits. Waits till the public attention is diverted elsewhere, and then it just kind of backburners something forever. Case in point, you remember 9/11? You remember 9/10? The Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld announcing that the Pentagon had lost somewhere between $2.3 and $3.2 trillion. Well, then 9/11 happened the next day, and have you heard about them locating that money? I haven't either. Have you heard of anyone going to jail for the missing money? I haven't either. Things get lost in the shuffle. You know, people look for news. We want what's newest, what's shiniest, what's exciting. Well, I want Hillary Clinton to pay for her crimes. While we're at it, I'd love for Bill Clinton to pay for his crimes. I'd like to see the entire edifice of the Clinton Foundation crumble for its crimes. When are we going to see that? Well, the guy who runs the Justice Department now is Jeff Sessions, and he reports to Donald Trump. When are we going to see it? I hope we'll see it. I don't see that there's any good reason for not prosecuting Hillary Clinton. She's guilty of sin. Trump himself said it on the campaign trail. So when's it going to happen? I do not believe that Trump is one of those guys who feels there's two sets of justice, one for the rich and famous and the other for the rest of us. I think he's a square-dealing guy. So where is the prosecution of Hillary Clinton? I'm going to let you chew on that. If you have any thoughts, call me. Because you know this is a call-in show. And you guys get opinions, 877-254-7524. If you would also like to see Hillary Clinton jailed, prosecuted, investigated, something, call me and tell me. Item from Breitbart. Some of the lines which generated a massive profit boost for the trauma counseling industry earlier this year. For example, my vagina has its own voice. Or drag king, drag queen, just do what feels right. These lines were a response to car crash viral internet sensation horror show that was episode 9 of Bill Nye Saves the World. Bill Nye the Science Guy. He's got a show, Bill Nye Saves the World, okay? Now, this story has taken a turn for the even worse with the truly appalling news that the segment has been nominated for an Emmy Award. That scene from Nye's Netflix show, a transgender celebrating song and dance routine starring actress Rachel Bloom, was celebrated across the internet as one of the most embarrassing moments in the history of television. Unquote. My friends, you may not have understood one of the words I used in that last sentence because people don't use it anymore. It's kind of fallen out of fashion. The word is embarrassing. Anybody get embarrassed anymore? Who? If you invite guests to your home and one of the glasses that you use to serve them has lipstick, yeah, you may be embarrassed. What about these idiots at the gay pride parades? What about these transgender people? They're being told by society not to feel embarrassed. Bill Nye the Science Guy, who's not a scientist, he just plays one, he's an actor. He's going out there celebrating transgenderism. And so what we're seeing is little children being given hormone treatments because their parents are fruitcakes. So maybe we need to bring back embarrassment here in America. If you're a macho-looking dude with a 5 o'clock shadow and you're wearing a dress, you should know enough to be embarrassed. And if you don't, other people who know better should not be afraid to tell you that you should be embarrassed. And the third layer, my friends, is that if we don't speak out for what's right, if we look at what's wrong and just turn a blind eye to it, we just leave it alone, then we should feel embarrassed. There's nothing wrong with standing up for sanity and normalcy, even in 2017. Day is not night, and night is not day. And if people scream at you for saying that, let them scream. You know what? They're going to scream anyway. They'll find something else to scream at you about. But this guy, Bill Nye the Science Guy, he's global warming, he's transgenderism, he's all the liberal philosophy garbage that's being perpetrated on America. So don't watch the show. And don't be afraid to tell people not to watch the show. It's Monday. Real truth. I'll be right back.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the American News Network.
Now, the Democrats testify to everyone hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If anyone adds to these things, God will add to him the plagues that are written in this book. And if anyone takes away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part from the book of life and from the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. Revelation 22:18.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your listeners at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228.
All right, guys, welcome back. Howard Riell, Real Truth, brand new week. Let's start right out of the gate. I got a caller on the line. Caller, you with us?
Yeah.
Caller, who's this, please?
This is Ann. Yeah, this is Ann.
How you doing, Ann? What's going on?
Well, I want to talk about the topic of why Hillary Clinton should be in jail.
Okay, tell us.
So I want your listeners, to get a paper and pencil and write this down. If people would YouTube Clinton Chronicles 1 hour, 52 minutes, May 19th, 2016, and the Vince Foster YouTube, which is 1 hour and 10 minutes, so that's 1:10, you'll find a history that is unbelievable. And this is legal documentation of them. And a few weeks before the Mira building was blown up, the
Oklahoma
FBI
City, right?
had a case against the Clintons on the international drug running they were doing out of Mena, Arkansas. So the Mena, Arkansas, Mira building, didn't last long enough to provide that evidence against them. But initially, for this election, while she was Secretary of State, she helped the 57 Islamic nations in the United Nations pass UN Resolution 1618. Sharia law supersedes U.S. federal code in the United Nations. You can go to understandingthethreat.com and get that information you go to blog and then you put in October 5, 2016. But the other thing she did is she sold our rare earth minerals and our uranium to basically to the members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and that's the Muslim countries that border China and Russia. So those three are the core of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So that's a starter for why she should be in jail. But if we don't help the constitutional Republicans win, all of our complaining and all of our exposing who she is won't stop the Agenda 21 stack and pack housing that they want to stack and pack with Democrat voters. And if you go to cpusa.org, CommunistPartyUSA.org, her platform was the same, is the same, and they said in 2008, with the election of Barack Obama, we know we now control the Democrat Party. So that's just a few of her details, okay?
But people should get busy researching it and then get loud call the White House and say, hey, we were chanting when you were running for president, we were chanting lock her up. Why isn't it moving forward? That's a legitimate question.
Right, but, Kennedy was killed possibly, he had fired Alan Dulles.
Right.
He wasn't going to put up with all the stuff he knew.
Right.
And so I'm not sure what, but we have to get the local city council people to stand up for stopping this Agenda 21 stack and pack growth. That is number one, because we'll never win any elections. So we can talk about Hillary, but we have to get behind constitutional candidates. Otherwise, and the Republican Party is the only one we've got going. I'm sorry, folks, that's just a fact. And the third party puts in the Democrat Party. So you have to contact your county GOP chairman and get some information. Each county has a website, but you need to call those people and attend some meetings and get behind them, because our vote will be lost. And we can't get it back because California is a super Democrat majority and can't be turned around.
All right. Ann, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have you call in. I appreciate it. My friends, Ann is absolutely right. It's up to us. And in fact, Rush Limbaugh says that Donald Trump has no one supporting him, watching his back, except us. And that's pretty frightening. Let's hear what Rush had to say earlier today.
So let's go to the audio sound bites. I want to go back to me on this program on January 23rd. This is just 2 or 3 days after Trump has been inaugurated. The entire Washington establishment is opposed to him. The media is trying to undermine him. The Democrat Party is trying to undermine him as they set up what will no doubt be impeachment proceedings when they think it's time to do it. That will happen. Trump has nothing but the people that voted for him. And if the media can soften some of their verve, if the media can succeed in separating some Trump supporters from him then their theory is he will be weakened even further and exposed even more as fraudulently and illegitimately elected and illegitimately serving. This election is not over. This election is not cemented. It is not validated. It isn't real because Trump is illegitimate, and the only thing Trump has, and it's important, it's the most important, the only thing he's got are his supporters. And therefore, his supporters have got to stay as energetic and as front and center and as supportive as they were during the campaign. That's all he's got. He's got the power. I mean, he is the president. Don't misunderstand. But in this PR battle, in the image battle, in the buzz battle, in the narrative battle, he doesn't have anybody. What? I take that back. Look, he's got this program for the most part, and he's got enough people of Fox News, and he's got some magazines, but he doesn't have the so-called mainstream media. So it is really important that the people that voted for him maintain their support and be publicly willing to demonstrate it. Voila! And right here they have, in the latest NBC News Wall Street Journal poll, Trump's approval at 50% in the counties that fueled his win. That was all the way back on January 23rd. Now, last night on PBS NewsHour Weekend, the anchor, let's see, this is Hari Srinivasan, spoke with Jeff Greenfield. Used to be with ABC News. Now he's a journalist and political analyst. And he was with CNN at one time, too. I don't know if he's independent with somebody now or not. But anyway, he was guest, and he was being asked about Trump's relationship with the media. And Srinivasan says, you say President Trump's base doesn't buy that anything happened regarding a Trump campaign coordinating with the Russians. Now listen to this quick. Can anything change that? Folks, you have here a PBS media type. The media knows that their key to destroying the Trump presidency is separating Trump supporters from Trump. They know that. Right now, they, I think, are misaiming all of this collusion stuff, and all of this obstruction stuff is aimed at themselves. I have long believed that journalists at CNN report and write what they say to impress other journalists at NBC and CBS and MSNBC, and then vice versa. The Washington Post guys write to impress the people in the New York Times, and sometimes beat them. The New York Times writes to impress the people at the Washington Post, sometimes beat them. And, of course, their lunatic-based readership. They don't know how to appeal to anybody else. They don't know how to appeal to people who live in flyover country. They just don't know, because they hold those people in contempt. They think those people are stupid. They don't know. So what their objective is to actually destroy support for Trump amongst Trump supporters. And they are demonstrating they haven't the slightest idea how to do it. You heard the phone calls we had last week. People are fed up with hearing about Trump and Russia and anything to do with it. They've tuned it out. They don't care about it. They don't believe it. And even if it is true, they don't think there's anything to it. They're not interested. And yet the media keeps beating them over the head with it. What the media is doing is driving people away from themselves on this story. The very people they are trying to convince that Trump is a bad guy, they don't know how to reach him. They think they do. Because the media makes the mistake of vanity, they assume that everybody thinks the way they do, and that everybody analyzes the way they do and holds the same value. So if they just continue to bash Trump in the typical way the media destroys Republicans, that eventually they're going to drive a wedge between Trump and his supporters. They haven't. The biggest flaw here is that they can't anyway. As a student of these kinds of things, I'm telling you, the media cannot destroy Trump. And the main reason why, and there are many reasons, the main reason why is they didn't create it. the media didn't make Trump. The media didn't take some unknown piece of clay here and mold him into a national public figure.
The media can't, this is Howard Riell, not Rush Limbaugh. The media can't destroy Trump because the media is part of the swamp. And people who elected Trump wanted him to drain the swamp. They know that, we know that the swamp has all the advantages, all the money, all the supporters. They've got the cacophony of voices. But Trump is basically our David going out with a slingshot against Goliath. Nothing is going to cause us to go away from Trump because everything he says and everything he does makes sense. It's the intelligent, business-like way to go about running this country. And the fact that morons on CNN or MSNBC say terrible things reflects on the morons. None of it sticks to Trump. Let's go back to Rush.
That they could then later dismantle and destroy. I can give you names of people they have done that to, and they can whittle them away anytime they want. But they didn't do that. Trump made himself. And so the only person that can really destroy the relationship he has with his supporters is Trump himself. So far, he hasn't even gotten close to doing that. In fact, it's, I think, the opposite. I think that Trump supporters, as this onslaught continues, become even more glued to him.
Absolutely right. Because the media has done something amazing. They've taken a billionaire and turned him into the long shot, into the underdog. The odds are stacked against them. They're cheating. They're using unfair methods against the underdog. And so, of course, Americans are going to root for the underdog, as well we should. Because he's fighting for us. He's fighting the good battle against a bunch of scummy bastards. And he's fighting for us. He's representing us against the swamp. So no, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stay in Trump's corner, and we're going to get louder. Let's go back to Rush Limbaugh.
And yet the media continues to pound away in the only way they know. And this has been noted by Greenfield. So this guy's question to Greenfield is, Trump's base doesn't buy anything about this Russia story. Can anything change that? So the PBS reporter is asking Greenfield is, what can you do, Jeff? What can we do? What can we do to get Trump's supporters to abandon him?
In a normal world, in a normal political world, I'd be kind of confident saying, well, yeah, you know, if the Republicans in Congress begin to really get tough on Trump, say, what's going on here? We're really bothered by this. This is a hostile foreign power. What's going on? That would have an impact among the base. But one of the curious things we're seeing is that among Trump's supporters, they're not all that happy with the Republicans in Congress anyway. You've seen some really sharp attacks on the part of some of the radio personalities like Rush Limbaugh saying, you guys aren't fighting hard enough, you might be raising taxes on us. They're not blaming Trump. So if the Republicans begin to say in Congress, this Russia thing is bothering us, I'm not sure the Trump people are going to take that as an occasion to leave the reservation.
Right, so they're frustrated. See, they're thinking about it. They're pondering it.
Because, my friends, we know that Congress is the swamp. Yeah, the Democrats are much worse, but the Republicans are also part of the swamp. They're also part of this entrenched bureaucracy that doesn't want Donald Trump taking their toys away. So what's going on with the health care bill? Well, the Republicans in Congress in both houses have fumbled it. And they're doing a terrible, god-awful job. They should each be docked 7 years' pay. But it's not Trump's fault. Trump's done everything humanly possible, and he's done it correctly. If this health care bill doesn't pass, it's not Trump's fault. It's Mitch McConnell's fault, and Paul Ryan, and the Republicans in the House and the Senate. It's their fault. Now, I wish they would get their act together. They saw how monstrously popular Trump has been. They should be with him and emulate him and do as he leads. Because otherwise they're going to bring the whole edifice crashing down. And there goes America. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, my friends, more Real Truth.
The American Freedom Network is not funded or supported by special interest groups or government programs. The American Freedom Network is not sponsored by advertisers demanding content or programming control. The American Freedom Network is solely funded by you, the listeners. Please help keep the American Freedom Network on the air by purchasing one of our sponsors' fine products or by calling 1-800-05-6245 to make a donation. The American Freedom Network needs your help. Now, this is the testimony of John, and Levite from Jerusalem, and asked him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19, 21. The associates at your 24-hour students, I get it. No one anywhere more noble, righteous, faithful, courageous, and majestic concord. These great men and women and their families put the bill for our freedom every day. And in the military, with the day in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associate at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they hit it. You look at the block of fun and the minds of the problem is well done. We know our kids will be a we want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have church and no church. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's the focus of the block of fun located at 360 Freedom Building, serving our area 1943 in specialized and naturalized beef and pork and complete custom process. Call 303-688-2040 303-688-2240. Please stop. Simple supplementation with Bible Superfood, the most advanced nutritional wholesome supplement you can buy. Children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bible Superfood from BibleH.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of the Bible Superfood forms of popular products. The most with four of the most lucrative without offer. Bible Superfood for the brain. With focus and with protein food gives you the rest of the body is a Bible Superfood and constantly and to see for you and order your Bible Superfood forms at BibleH.com. Spelled BibleH.com. Bible.com or call 877-288-916 Bible.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. I'm Howard Riell. You've gotten a bunch of truth from me today. You've gotten some truth from Rush Limbaugh. Here's some more truth from Ann Coulter.
An extra $30 you're expecting to get into the seat, and what happened?
$30. I want to start and stop you right there.
All right.
This snippy thing by Delta O will give you the $30. No, it's not the $30. I went online. I took a lot of time. I fly a lot. I game it out. I picked the exact seat I want. And by the way, I explained all of this to Delta in the very first communique with them, in addition to my Twitter feed. I didn't hold anything back. I just wanted to tell them honestly what happened. I even ran into a friend of mine. The 90 minutes I was waiting outside the gate when they could have called me up and asked if I'd be willing to switch seats, but did not. And he offered to bump me up to first class with him, but I said, no, I have a great seat. I have work to do. It's an aisle seat. It has more leg room. I could quietly sit there and get my work done, though it's really no one's business. That was the seat I chose and took a lot of care in choosing and reserving that seat. And as I'm boarding, the gate agent snatched my ticket away, handed me a little slip with a different seat, and said, we're switching you. I said, why? And she said emergency. I don't know if she meant emergency row or if she was lying and claiming it was an emergency, but I had, 200 people in line behind me, so I wasn't going to do anything about it. I just go onto the plane and, there's my seat, completely empty. Whole row is empty. So I sat there. Usually if people don't care, and if it's not the seat they booked, they'll just take whatever seat. But the woman came back, and when I was there, and other people had done that, taken other seats, so the stewardess came and asked to see our tickets, and I said, well, this is the seat I booked. but the gate agent took it away from me and told me to move, gave me this ticket for another seat, but I don't want that seat. I want this seat. And she said, no, you have to move. And I said, why? And she said, I don't know. And that's basically it. Oh, except then when of course, their Wi-Fi wasn't working because they don't want passengers to be able to tweet about how they're being treated. Then it's just been first niceness, then snarkiness, then lies from Delta. So I think the corporate offices might want to reconsider having social justice warriors running their customer relations.
And Coulter, listen, let me ask you this. Do you think that anybody recognized you and sort of messed with you because of who you are?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't have thought so, but their response on social media certainly indicates that. I just go to Antensity, a fan website. They've been monitoring this to find out what Delta is saying.
Can I just say what their response was? For those who are not familiar with this, Delta responded on Twitter, we're sorry you did not receive the preferred seat you paid for and will refund your $30. And I agree with you so much that the $30 is irrelevant. You wanted the damn seat. You put the time and effort into it. Now,
and if they think it's only worth $30, why didn't they give the other woman $30 and let me keep my seat? If that's all it's worth?
Excellent point. Now, they also wrote, Ann Coulter, additionally, your insults about our other customers and employees are unacceptable and unnecessary. And you did say some stuff about the flight attendants are like Nurse Ratchets, and the woman has short dog legs or something like that. Dachshund-legged woman that took your seat.
That was to make a point that it was not a sick person, an elderly person, an air marshal. There was a reason, and oh boy, was that reason justified now that we're getting conflicting stories and lies from Delta. Be sure to document everything with these people. Because, of course I would have given up a seat for an air marshal, an elderly person, a sick person, a soldier. Right. But it wasn't any of those things, nor was it a tall person. I'm very, very tall among the reasons, and I have plenty of reasons, which, again, it's no one's business. I don't think I have to justify my decision. I went online. I looked at what the aircraft was. I looked up the sort of aircraft. I fly a lot. Where I sit matters to me. Yeah. And I picked this seat. If I wanted the view from that side, it's none of their business. Right. They invite customers to pre-book a specific seat. I pre-booked a specific seat, and the reason I took the picture was to show that it wasn't an air marshal, it wasn't an elderly person, it wasn't, a child with special needs, and the dachshund legs refers to the fact that she was not only not gigantically tall, she was significantly shorter than I was. She didn't need the legs.
So they still haven't
her feet didn't touch the ground.
Right, so even now at this point, they still haven't given you any real reason why they've done this, and that mean.
Yes, they did. After a full 24 hours of investigating.
Right.
What's her name here? The head of customer relations. I'll give you her name in a moment.
Do you like her or no? Was she cool or no?
My friends, let me ask you a question. I'll interrupt Ann Coulter's account of her distress with Delta. Have you ever been treated like garbage on an airline? Any airline. You have, right? This is a pretty universal thing. Kept waiting, switched around, maybe bumped off flights. Well, we got a little bit of social justice several months ago. Remember when that guy got beat up on an airplane and the next couple of days later someone else was mistreated? Thank God we've got cell phones with videos in them now. But the airlines also run roughshod over Americans. I want to know who's going to make it better. Do you have to be a celebrity like Ann Coulter to get a little bit of justice? Do you have to have someone shooting a video in order to get justice? We pay an awful lot of people to work in our government. Can the government do nothing to prevent airlines from treating us like trash? It's a question, right? Item from Breitbart. Dan Gaynor, Vice President of Business and Culture at the Media Research Center, joined Breitbart News Daily SiriusXM host Alan Marlowe on Monday, that's today, to discuss the media's obsessive coverage of Donald Trump Jr., Russia, and other media topics, including MSNBC host Joe Scarborough, who recently claimed he's leaving the Republican Party. Basically, said Gaynor, the only people who care about Morning Joe are in New York or Washington, D.C. The entire rest of the world doesn't give a darn about what he says or how he thinks. Why doesn't anybody care what Morning Joe thinks? Gaynor continued, he hasn't been a conservative for years. Whether he's a Republican or not, he basically gets paid his 30 pieces of silver from MSNBC to bash conservatives. Unquote. Absolutely right. Morning Joe and his dingbat fiancée, Mika Brzezinski, who only got her job because her father was Zbigniew Brzezinski, he's paid to trash conservatives. Not to convey news, not to give accurate analysis of what's happening in the country. He's a hitman. He's like that punk that went after Nancy Kerrigan with a bat and took out her knee. That's Morning Joe. He's what's known as a media whore. And if he thinks that he's fooling America into thinking that he is indeed a journalist, he's not. And whether he's a Republican or not, he's a jackass. He's a liberal fool. And he doesn't care about the American people, doesn't care about the truth, cares about his paycheck. So don't watch Joe Scarborough or his fiancée, the daughter of Zbigniew Brzezinski. Turn them off. Put on Fox News instead. Go on YouTube and listen to old shows of Real Truth. That's your best bet. Because truth counts. Truth is a sacred thing. It's not to be trifled with. And it's not to be bought and sold like a commodity. All right, we'll take a break and we'll be back with more Real Truth. Go nowhere, my friends.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. The law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Piccolo's restaurant did for money. The settlement of 6,200 reports missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were accepted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters in play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant is not only best in town in the Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo. Thank them for doing a great job. Shop and respect. Realize that God's game at times. Really call 352-2333. They're only here because they care. And countless beautiful people in Greeley. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. And no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the person or thing to be seen.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Howard Real, you know, we're 13 days past July 4th. And when I say July 4th, you know what July 4th celebrates, right? You know what it means, right? You know why it exists, right? You know what happened on July 4th, right? Well, if you do, apparently you have less company than you think because, as Mark Dice shows in this next report, a lot of Americans don't know why we celebrate July 4th. And if you think I'm kidding, listen.
What country did we declare independence from to celebrate the 4th of July?
I don't know.
What is the purpose of 4th of July celebrations?
I'm going to turn it to the guy in the USA shirt.
Fireworks. A little more specific. A little more specific.
Celebrating our independence.
There we go. A little more specific still. Independence
Day.
from a country. Step in here at any time. Which country was that?
History was not my subject. I slept through that class.
And happy 4th of July.
Thank you. Happy 4th to you guys.
When Jesse Ventura, John Wilkes Booth, and the other founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, what year was that?
1870 something, but
My friends, this is not a comedy tape. At least it's not supposed to be. This is a video of your fellow Americans, average Americans, walking on a pier in San Diego. Don't know thing one about our country. So how patriotic do you think these people will be? Why should they be? They don't know what they've got. You and I know America is virtually a miracle. Best man-made country in the history of mankind. They don't know that. They're waiting for fireworks. They're watching TV. They're texting. They don't know what America is and why it's important and why it's valuable, and they frankly don't care. This video is not a comedy. It's a tragedy.
I don't remember the specific year.
What's the purpose of 4th of July weekend?
No, celebrate our independence.
A little more specifically, please.
I really don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's all I know.
I'm revoking your celebration. You're no longer allowed to celebrate. Celebration canceled. Name 2 of the founding fathers of the United States.
Oh man, you had to start there, huh?
Washington. Hey, no, I asked him, not you. Okay, name one more.
George and
Lincoln. No. Hey, pipe down over there. It was supposed to.
You're not putting this one on the.
We're going to have to deport you. You don't deserve to be an American.
Yeah.
Get out of our country.
Well, it's an interesting question. Does he deserve to be an American? Well, the easy answer is, yeah, he looks like he was born in America. He's an American. From birth, he's an American. What if you had to earn the designation of American? What if everybody, regardless of whether or not they were born here, had to take a test in order to earn the right to be a citizen? What would happen in that world? How many citizens do you think would be left? Back to Mark Dice.
What year did the Declaration of Independence get signed? Just you. You first.
Oh,
Watch your mouth.
I'm sorry. I don't know, to be honest with you.
1875.
My friends, for these people, anything that happened before Britney Spears not only didn't happen, but it doesn't matter. It's not important. This is a tragedy. By the way, every year, every couple of years, federal and state spending on education rises. We spend more on education than any country in the history of the planet. Where is that education? Now, these people probably took women's studies, transgender studies, black studies, gay studies. What about American studies? That's been crowded out? Anything that happened before the Beatles is not important? Go back to it.
What year was the Declaration of Independence signed?
God. Come on, man.
Hold on, you don't give it away.
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yep, Tom, it's buried deep in there somewhere.
That's what I'm saying, off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's not the top of your head, my friend. It's what's inside your head. It's a vacuum.
Hold on, we're still not done with you. We're celebrating independence. What does that mean exactly? Independence from who? 4th of July, what year? Come on. Hold on. Don't give it away.
Come on, man. You put him on the spot. You put him on the spot.
He needs a safe space. 4th of July weekend, we celebrate the Civil War victory, the North over the South, freeing of the slaves. What are you going to be doing to commemorate that?
It's a good question. Probably just out with family, friends, enjoying ourselves. We're out in San Diego, we got to enjoy the sun, the surf, the weather, good people.
What year was the Declaration of Independence signed?
That, my friend, has been a long time for me.
4th of July weekend, we sort of celebrate John Wilkes Booth, Jesse Ventura, the other founding fathers. Who's your favorite founding father?
My favorite founding father is... Who you got to pick out of? Oh, no. Look, what are my choices?
Well, I'll answer the question for you, my friend. Your favorite founding father is Tupac Shakur. Another founding father, Notorious B.I.G. How's that? Now I'm talking a language he can understand. Names like Jefferson? Never. Item from McClatchy. One big reason Senate Republicans are having trouble uniting around a plan to overhaul the nation's health coverage is that a lot of them just don't get along. These intra-party clashes of personality and policy stymie the bill's progress as much as any other political force. Sure, lawmakers are reluctant to side with President Donald Trump, particularly in traditional swing states like Ohio or Wisconsin. But what's hurting the Senate's efforts to come together are the personal relationships or lack of them. Unquote. So, my friends, the fact that they represent the United States and the American people, that doesn't matter. They're going to be petty. They're going to be partisan. They're going to be ineffective. And then, before you know it, they're going to go on another vacation. Because they're Congress. What do you expect them to do? Work for a living? We'll be back with more Real Truth.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit, whether they are God, because many false prophets have gone into the way. But they will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh, is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin as tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10. If catastrophe struck with your family, be prepared. Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all your emergency supplies? Barrett Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Barrett Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Barrett Survival. The American Freedom Network is not funded or supported by special interest groups or government programs. The American Freedom Network is not sponsored by advertisers demanding content or programming control. The American Freedom Network is totally funded by you, the listener. Please help keep the American Freedom Network on the air by purchasing one of our sponsored fine products or by calling 1-800-205-6245 to make a donation. The American Freedom Network needs your help.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. 4 minutes left. Let's make them count. Item from Mark Slavo, writing at shtfplan.com. The mainstream media's silence over Klaus Eberwein's death is deafening. Eberwein was a former Haitian government official who is expected to expose the extent of Clinton Foundation corruption and malpractice next week. He was found dead in Miami at the age of 50. The circumstances surrounding Eberwein's death are also nothing less than unpalatable. According to Miami-Dade's medical examiner records supervisor, the official cause of death is, quote, gunshot to the head. Eberwein's death has been registered as suicide by the government. But not long before his death, he acknowledged his life was in danger because he was outspoken on the criminal activities of the Clinton Foundation. Eberwein was a fierce critic of the Clinton Foundation's activities in the Caribbean island, where he served as Director General of the government's economic development agency, Fonds d'Assistance Économique et Sociale. How's that for a French accent? For 3 years. The Clinton Foundations, they are criminals, they are thieves, they are liars, they are a disgrace. Eberwein said at a protest outside the Clinton Foundation headquarters in Manhattan last year. Eberwein, hang on one second. Okay. Sorry about that. Eberwein was due to appear on Tuesday before the Haitian Senate Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, where he was widely expected to testify that the Clinton Foundation misappropriated Haiti earthquake donations from international donors. But this quote-unquote suicide gets more disturbing. My friends, you're going to go to that website, Mark Slavo, and you're going to check it out yourself. Not enough time here to cover it, but it's just another instance in many. And this goes back to the way I opened the show about drinking Kool-Aid. You know, they say where there's smoke, there's fire. There are plumes of smoke, and have been for decades, surrounding the Clintons. No investigation. Item from the Economic Collapse blog. Would Kid Rock make a good U.S. senator? When asked if a website promoting his potential run was real, he responded by tweeting that the answer is, quote, an absolute yes. Of course, no official announcements have been made yet, but Kid Rock says one may be coming very soon. Many Republicans have been urging him to run against incumbent Democrat Debbie Stabenow, and now it looks like this may actually happen, unquote. My friends, before we go off the air, 2 thoughts. Number 1, I hope Kid Rock does run for office. He's been outspoken in support of Donald Trump, which means he's been in support of the American people and the future of the United States. Number 2, if Kid Rock, who's not a politician, can run for office because he respects what Donald Trump is doing and wants more of it, what's preventing you? Yeah, you. What's preventing you from running for office? You find supporters, you go to the local Republican Party. They get you some money. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to run for president. Run for a local office. If you're honest and if you're conservative, America needs you badly. We need good people instead of political hacks, whether it's the local school board, whether it's the city council, whether it's the U.S. Senate, or the hallowed halls of Congress, which between you and me aren't so hallowed anymore. We need good people to get up and run for office and do an honest, sincere, righteous job. And if that's you, then I urge you to emulate Kid Rock and get busy. I'll be back tomorrow with more Real Truth. My friends, stay safe, stay healthy, stay angry. Hasta lumbago.